What up, nerds? Welcome back to more adventures in Orlando. So let's get into what all I did this week. So I mentioned in my previous video that I was using the app Duolingo. I can't even speak English. Why do I think I can speak Spanish? I'm not sure. I have been working with the app Duolingo in an attempt to learn Spanish. The lesson I worked on this week was really kicking my tail. So you get 5 hearts, and if you make a mistake, you lose a heart. And once you're out of hearts, it cancels your lesson. So how they keep me interested is I have like a 58 or 59 day streak going. So that means every time I get a heart, I'm gonna play to make sure I complete a full lesson so I can advance and keep that streak going. They also have a leaderboard, and of course I wanna always stay in the top 10, but the words it has me on in this lesson that I've been working on this week has been whooping my tail. It's because it's got a studio or a studiar, which is study or to study, and escribir, which is to write, and I keep getting those two mixed up, so I keep losing hearts because I keep mixing those two words up. So what I need to do is get some note cards from Walmart and just start making note cards so I can practice before I get in the app. Plus, it'll help me learn the language a little bit faster. Since I'm no longer working, I've decided I'm gonna move my 401k from my previous employer over to my financial advisor at Edward Jones and just let him manage it for me. So that way, all of my retirement will just be in one place. It is a very involved process to move your 401k over into a traditional IRA. And so what I have to do is, since it's in a pre-tax 401k and I'm moving it over to Edward Jones, I had to open a traditional IRA with them so I could get all of the account number and information. So then I had to get paperwork from my current 401k, put the rollover information for my new traditional IRA, and now I've got to send it back to my previous employer so they can sign off on it. Send it back to the 401k people so they can send me a check to send to Edward Jones. So yeah, it's a very involved hassle, but I'll be glad once it's over. So we finally made our way over to Ikea on Saturday, which I'm super stoked that Orlando has an Ikea because we have never lived near one, so we're super pumped. But we went by real quick to get some little shelving units to put in the loft. So our first order of business was to get our Ghostbusters wall organized and fleshed out. Next month, we're gonna get more shelving units to put all of our gaming consoles and video games in. And then the next order of business will be to get me some bookshelves for all of my books that I just have piled around me on the floor in the meantime. I did a huge unhaul when we were packing to move, and so I only kept my absolute favorites, but I'm looking forward to adding back to the stash, and I'm gonna need room to do that. We finally had our very first visitors over to our townhouse. So my best friend Steven and his parents live in Maryland, and his parents were actually in town for a ham radio conference. So we coordinated and we got to meet them for lunch yesterday, and we went over to BurgerFi, which is a local burger joint here. It is a chain actually, but it's not a huge chain yet. BurgerFi has the best hamburgers I've ever had, second to my husband's, because you just can't beat a good home-cooked hamburger on the grill. At any rate, we got to take them there and they got to see our townhome, and it was just really good to get to catch up to them. We had so many things happen last year that we didn't get a chance to get up to visit them or Steven. So it was really, really good to see them. Another really cute thing that they did is they timed their arrival so they could accompany us to take Milo and Bandit on their lunchtime walk. So we had a really good time showing them our neighborhood and where we lived, and they got to see the pups chasing lizards, which is absolutely the most cutest thing ever besides them coming downstairs. If you've never seen a little short pup coming downstairs, then you haven't lived. We also hit up Magic Kingdom one evening Chris scored fast passes for Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, and Jungle Cruise. We got there a little early before our fast pass started for Jungle Cruise, so we actually went over and rode Pirates first. Magic Kingdom was packed. So a few weeks ago, they had cheerleading nationals, but I guess those were the high school girls, so we thought that was over. We show up, Magic Kingdom is packed to the gills with junior high aged cheerleaders. The difference in the maturity levels of the junior high girls and the senior high girls was insane. The older girls weren't a problem. We actually didn't really notice that they were even there. They all had cheer shirts on, repping their schools. The junior high girls, all the adults were complaining about them. They were traveling in huge packs. Some had chaperones, some didn't. It didn't matter. I mean, the chaperones weren't really doing anything with the ones we were around, but when we went to ride Pirates, we were in an enclosed area and they were all just showboating for one another. So they were doing cheers, they were yelling, they were doing the really loud clapping, but the really loud clapping. And it was so loud. And they were yelling so loud that it was just bouncing off the walls. It was the most unenjoyable experience I've had at Disney, and I have been when it has been even more crowded than it was yesterday. So after we hit up Pirates, we rode the Jungle Cruise because Chris said he had never ridden it at night. So we did that. I didn't get any footage because we were riding in the center of the boat, so all you would have seen were people's heads. But we had a really good time doing that one at night. We had Skipper Tori, and we've had her before. She's really hilarious. After we rode the Jungle Cruise, we went over to ride Space Mountain, which is always a super fun ride. So once we rode Space Mountain, I decided it was time to eat. And so Casey's Corner had on their menu a fried pickle hot dog, which I guess was their hot dog of the month. That really caught my attention and I just had to have it. So we went to Casey's Corner. Boy, that was a huge mistake. They were packed. I'm not sure what happened. I have literally never seen them that busy. It took them about 10 minutes, but then they got the knots worked out and got people out of there pretty quick. Unfortunately, they did not have the fried pickle hot dog anymore, so the app was mistaken, that's the first time I've ever had that happen at Disney. They usually stay up to date on everything because people are constantly checking that app and they're using that app to navigate their way around Disney World. So I was kind of surprised by that, but you know, a hot dog is a hot dog. So right about the time that I finally got my food, the fireworks started and they were still going on. So I did catch some of the fireworks on our way to ride Big Thunder Mountain. Chris was really trying to time it so that the fireworks would be going off while we were riding the ride, but we didn't make it because it took so long for me to get my food, so we decided we'll try that again sometime. We almost stayed in Magic Kingdom to park closed, so when we were leaving it was about 8:30 and it was a huge mass exodus already going on. So the monorails, the line was like backed up down off the ramp, so we chose to ride the ferry boat. That is the way to go. So if you're coming to Magic Kingdom anytime soon, the ferry boat is the way to go. The only way I would take the monorail is if you're getting there, there's not a line where you can literally just walk right on. Other than that, the ferry boat is 1000% the fastest way to get back and forth between Magic Kingdom and the parking lot. So while we were on the ferry boat riding back to the car, I was checking my phone and I had received a text message from Steven's dad. He had discovered that Kennedy Space Center was going to be launching a rocket at 11:03 that night, and he sent me the countdown clock. So we hurried home. I grabbed a shower real quick. We got the pups ready and we all went for a little walk so we could see the rocket launch. We weren't really sure if we would be able to see it. I think we're about 80 miles away from the Kennedy Space Center, but sure enough, we were walking the pups and we just happened to look up at the right time and we saw it. We saw the rocket launching, and I don't know if it caught on video very well, but I did get a little bit of footage. I wasn't prepared because the countdown clock was actually not correct. We still showed that we had like 4 minutes before launch when we Chris just happened to look up and saw it coming up. And so I started recording as soon as I could to try and catch it. But with us being 80 miles away, you could still see it and you could hear it. We heard it. It was loud. It was so cool. I tell you, living in Orlando, there's so much fun stuff for us to do and experience. I feel like we will be entertained for years. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all the fun that we got to have this week. Other than that, I had my usual fun times walking the pups around our little community, chasing lizards, chasing squirrels, and chasing birds. And that wraps up all the fun I had in Orlando this week. I can't wait to see what's in store for next week. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.